What you do, Tim?
He did it, not me.
Like a bird almost cost us a tractor.
Yeah, right?
It did, a goddamn bird.
Freaking bird.
Built a nest on top of the turbocharger. You wouldn't even be able to see it. It had us on fire. Fortunately, Teresa had a bit of water. And we put it out. Neighbor came, put more water on it.
Yeah, Tim.
Fire extinguisher, but that would have just made a hell of a mess. This is how you diagnose these things, right? You go to Gobble My Balls. You always go to Gobble My Balls.
Oh, so we're burning green fuel now? No, it's blue fuel, or blue oil. Blue and red.
What is that? Transmission.
Green fuel,
ACU
yeah.
code. ACU. I don't even
What?
have to do that, but 523955.
I'll make green fuel.
523 955.31. Go. John Deere 7930 issues. ACU fault codes. Code may also be caused by operator consistently changing speeds up and down on count control units. John Deere transmission. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We are going to, I think it's these two buttons here. You hold those in, and you turn it on. Yes. My memory, you didn't film that?
I got it.
So you push this one and this one together and then turn the key on, right? And this will give you all the codes, right? Or everything that's there. It'll give you all the ACU, all the controllers, right? So we're looking for an ECU code. So we got ECU, then you push that thing there. And then you'll turn your button again and again. So it's got two different codes. 200519. I know that's a fuel rail. And a 65307. So let's go to here. Then you go to Google, because Google's awesome for this stuff. Believe it or not. It's ECU, and then 653.07. You're going to hit that. Viewing thread, 8430 John Deere injection issue.
When
Okay.
cylinder 3 injects.
So it probably had some shit in it.
Yeah.
Shit.
Some shit in it.
Shit.
Shit. So that's fine, and we'll go to the next one. We can clear these codes. If it doesn't, we can clear them. I just want to know what they are. So we're looking at an ECU 2005 2005.19 code, and you hit that one. 8130 code 2005-19 ECU. Google says armrest control unit communication error. So when I stopped this thing and shut it off, I threw it into reverse instead of park.
Okay.
Even though it'll automatically go into park when you turn the key off.
Right.
So that's what that's about. So we can easily just. If you
only
turn it
got
to the
3?
left, it'll toggle between the codes that you have. But if you go to the right, twice, boom. Then you hit that, hit the done. If the code is not there, it'll clear, and you go to the next one. HCU, ICU, PTI. That is what PTI is, a transmission. So right now, okay, VLC code. VLC code. What do we got for that?
VLC.
Yeah, vagina long cunt. What? VLC. Uh-oh. Am I supposed to be good? I'm not supposed to be talking like that.
It's supposed to be good.
Yeah, because the brothers in the church are watching, and
That's correct.
They don't like devil's dick stuff.
No, they don't. They don't like.
Virginia Long
I'm not
Cunt.
saying a word.
Virginia Long Cunt. Didn't she work at the corner store at one time? You remember her?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, you know who I'm talking about. Yeah, I saw that girl one time kissing a guy through the big glass window that's there. 2, 3, 5, 6, 5, 6. Then I went in to the store, and a guy came in behind me, which was not the same dude, and she started kissing up on him like 2 seconds later. I'm like,
She's all over the place. That's all.
oh yeah, man, that guy was eating.
Universal.
That guy was tasting what the other guy had for lunch, man.
Yuck.
It was bad.
Ah, Daddy!
Yeah.
Still tasting that hot sub.
Oh,
Were you to Subway this afternoon?
disgusting.
Okay, front inner floodlights. So we don't worry about those. So apparently it's front inner floodlights, so they must have had a problem. There's nothing left.
Oh, your lights on the VT is not working on the left side.
It's okay.
Just so you
We
know.
got an ACU code or two. We got ACU.
That's
Okay.
a long one.
Huh?
That's a long one.
Turn the lights on.
I don't need to. I don't care about you people. You know what? I donated to the Republican National Committee a long time ago, right? And I don't mind. Oh, there it is.
What is it?
523955.31.
31.
Yeah, it's already there. So either I've looked up this code before,
Or it's common.
or it's very common. Code may be operated consistent with changing speed up and or down. One count. Control unit response. John Deere transmission fault code. ACU transmission and or ballast. If code returns, have John Deere dealer repair at earliest convenience. Yeah, well, what is it? Hand throttle circuit voltage problems. Well, I did dump a bunch of water on it to put the fire completely out.
Yeah.
It might have said, hey, you know what? So what we're going to do, because there's only one, we're just going to clear it, and we're going to hit done, and then we're going to go through all of them again. I hope you all saw that, because that's how you get into these older tractors. Obviously, we're done. You can go through each one of these controllers. So if you were like, you wanted to change something, like the ECU, you could go into there, and then there's a whole bunch of different things you can do. So as you turn, there's the beep, and then it'll give you, you can actually fuck up your computer within here. A lot of people, because I was just in dealer mode, so if you knew the address, you can't adjust the horsepower or anything, but there's other things you can do to this thing. Change parameters or whatnot. So the best thing to do is just turn it off, count to 5, turn it back on. Normal. And then you go to this one, because we're not going into dealer mode, or this one, because we're not going into dealer mode. Then go all the way down to the bottom and hit the diagnostics button and hit for codes, and it'll retrieve if there's any codes. Now it isn't running, there's no codes. Okay, so you're good. And you can hit back, and then you can go down here. What else is there? I think service intervals, diagnostics. So we're good there. Turn it off. Count to 5 in your head, which I'm not counting. You are, I'm sure, because I can see the gears turning. In the
It's been 10.
I know. Anyways, turn the key back on. Let it boot up. Then the filters are clean, so I can't imagine it's anything with that. And I swear to God, I got a tick crawling up my leg. Nope.
Look at that chicken legs.
Sounds good. Nothing's flashing, nothing's blinking. Shut my hood.
Put down. Oh, what is that for? The plastic thing. The black.
It needs tape. Two-sided tape.
I'd have to go get the right stuff because the stuff that I had on here was the real tough shit.
Two-sided tape.
Yeah, but I don't have it. I had to throw it out because they got full of mold.
Moldy tape.
I don't know, I got full of mold
You're
somewhere.
gonna have to go spaff all over the damn tape. It won't get moldy if
I
you...
got this weather strip adhesive.
No, it takes too long.
Do it when we get back.
Yeah, if we don't burn up. Anyway, let's go. We'll give it a shot. Where's my hat? Oh. All right, so this is it. The beginning of the year. We're going to be running this vertical tillage machine. We got some ruts out here that need to be dealt with. Vertical tillage machines aren't really good for ruts, but this one you can angle to 6 degrees, go over it a couple times, and that fixes it. So while she's doing that, she's putting the pins in. Look at her. She doesn't realize I'm taping her. So while she's doing that, we'll unfold it.
Are you getting my fat ass?
Oh, I got your fat ass.
God damn it.
I like the jeans you used to own. You know those low cut ones? I don't like
They
these
don't
high-
make them no more.
These aren't as
These
sexy.
are like mama pants.
Yeah, they're, you know, mom jeans. You know, back in the 90s and early 2000s, you know, when Britney Spears was showing just to the top of her cooch. Yeah, those are cool, right? You never had them that low, did you?
No, not that low.
No, they were pretty low.
No, not that low. That's...
Yeah. But I saw a girl one time, I was like, man, just a little more imagination and, you know, we'd be seeing some things we wouldn't. Anyway, we're going to hell.
Yeah, get your ass in gear.
That will give you your...
6.
We're going to go 0. We're going to see, we're going to see how she goes as far as depth. I'm going to cut it pretty deep. We're just going to try and, what we're going to do is we're just loosening the soil. That's all we're doing.
So you want a 0 first.
Only 0 on this one. That's it. So,
oh, wow.
that's all I want to do. So that it dries it out a little bit. And because we're going to drill these beams. And that's all we need to see. Feel that? It's actually a lot wetter than you think it is. Why is that thing bucking? That thing should not be bucking like that.
Something's weird going on. Or maybe I'm just crazy.
Well, you might be crazy.
Yeah, we all know that. I did.
That's what I thought.
When did we say I did to you?
Like a bunch of years ago now.
Bunch of years ago.
Alright, so we've done some VTing. I've got my lovely asawa. She is, that means wife in Tagalog, or Filipino. So I'm just going to document the fact that she is out here by telephone poles, and hopefully she doesn't hit any, because she's batting 1,000 with those things. We got 2 telephone poles that she's whacked. 2! Anyway, she's pretty good at this. If you don't know, watch how fast she's gonna go. Ready? Ready? There she goes. She's gonna be VTing at about 12 miles an hour. That's her job, 12 miles an hour. Alright, so we've got the drill in the ground. I was setting up the VT machine, vertical tillage machine. So we were a little bit deep. For some reason, I swear to God, somebody got a hold of that thing and put it down to like 8 inches deep, which you cannot do. As I got across the field, I stopped several times to shallow it up, shallow it up, shallow it up. I actually shallowed it up 3 inches from what it was. So I was like 6, 7, 8 inches deep. It was ridiculous. So now I've got it where it belongs. I don't really like to disturb the soil that much, and I just need to see where these damn soybeans are. Now, what do we got here? Are they too damn deep? Fuck, I can't see them. I think they're here someplace, right? They ought to be here someplace. If you get them too deep, the damn things won't come up. And I got to be real careful, because they don't look like they're too deep. Let's go to here. So, because I've worked the ground, I don't want them any more than 1.5 inches deep, in which I don't believe they are, because you can see them down in there. So yeah, they're about 1.5 inches deep. The soil will settle. The soil will settle as, you know, the soil will settle. I mean, we just worked that. So now I got to take a look here. You're going to see what I've got in here. Normally, I'm using the peat moss rhizobum bacteria, and I wet the beans, and I can already see that this side is running out faster, so I need to slow that one down. just a little. So that's easy enough. You just jump off here, pay for it when you're 90. Yeah, I think we're going to be good there. Just you got to keep an eye on it. So yeah, you can see that I have the residue still on top, which is where I want it. The VT did its job, just basically softened up the soil. It's in this field, it's way more than I wanted it to be. Way more than I wanted it to be. I wanted it to just soften it up so that the drill would go in. And I don't know which one, who or what turned the button on that thing. Could have been William for all I know. I could blame it on him, but it's kind of weird that, you know, little kids like to turn things, and Timothy does still, and he's not so little. But yeah, that's just the way the world works, you know. So you got to be a little more vigilant. It only took me 10 acres to figure out that there was an issue going on with it, and I don't much care about that issue, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's going down. So I'm going to turn this around and you can see my view. You can see that the vertical tillage machine did not rip the roots out of that's volunteer wheat. Those are my old sprayer tracks from last year. So it wasn't deep enough to uproot any of that, but it was just deep enough to really get into where I'm not comfortable with how much I worked it up. So what I'm trying to do is kind of regenerative. I'm trying to do some regenerative ag on. I am doing regenerative ag, but my tillage, you can till the soil a little bit in that, but this is way too much. Way too much. So I've got that issue going on. As you can see as I get down, well, I'll show you later on in the video. As you get down across the field, you'll see that I definitely did not continue to be as deep as I was, which, you know, it was what it was. And then I screwed up over there. I hit the wrong button and angled it to 6 degrees, which doesn't make it any deeper, but it's really aggressive. It doesn't turn it over, it just tears it up a little more. And yeah, so this is just the learning curve field, and that's that. So y'all are wondering what I'm planting. It's soybeans. You're not wondering what I'm planting. It's not corn, it's soybeans. How many acres of soybeans will I be planting this year? I'm looking at something like no less than 1,000 and no more than 1,300. It all depends on weather and weather. Just weather. There's plenty of soybeans being planted in the area, so I'm not like the only game in town. And what that means is that the deer will not annihilate me; they'll annihilate us all. Nah, they're not going to annihilate us. They're just going to be a little less. There's going to be a little less impact. So right now there's beans here. This is about the only beans here, but there's 200 acres of soybeans that I have. These are 200 acres of beans that I've got here, and I do believe that right over on the other side over there, there's going to be soybeans over there. Not 100% sure of that fact, but I'm pretty sure because they had wheat in it last year and nothing after that. So for the most part, you got a pretty good chance of that it's going to be soybeans, because that guy doesn't plant corn, and I do. I'm not allowed to plant corn on this. I had my popcorn over there, and for everybody that didn't know what happened to the popcorn really kind of, I just wasn't able to take care of it the way I wanted to. I didn't have a separate bin to run air on it, and it never popped right. The best it popped was when I put it in automatic transmission fluid. That was the best that it popped. So yeah, so that's that. We had a couple of washouts in this field because I did not get the beans off in time. They were later planted soybeans. I didn't get the beans off in time to put the cover crop on. That's why these are the first beans going in. You can see that I did some reclamation work there or here, so I really went over it quite a few times with the vertical tillage machine, got them worked in. And this fall, it will definitely have either wheat or a cover crop wheat. I'm not going to harvest wheat. I don't think I'm not into poverty grass. You know, last year I planted wheat, took a lot of time in the summer, like two weeks in the middle of the summer, a week and a half in the middle of the summer to deal with it, and then plant these soybeans late in July. You know, I made out good. I ended up with 31 bushel. Average on all 230 acres is what it averaged out. That means that I had some 15 bushel and I had some 50-60 bushel. There was one spot that I hit 100 bushel, but that was a very small spot, and it was just on really, really good ground, and I couldn't believe it when I did it. The beans were 4 foot tall and loaded to the top. They were crazy. So, you know, it's not an uncommon thing to be able to grow 70, 80 bushel beans here. The problem is, it's very difficult to do so. It's expensive. That's why when I see guys come down here with that are from another area of the state that has more forgiving ground, they come down here and they're like, well, we can grow beans better than this asshole, you know, and there's a few of them around. And the nice thing was the guy at the fertilizer plant, he actually told the one guy, he says, well, I can go down, they're only making hay down there in Hunterdon, you know, South Hunterdon or Central Hunterdon County, and there, you know, I can go down there and I can get all the ground I want, and I can grow corn and soybeans down there. And the salesman at the fertilizer plant says, well, I don't think you understand what that soil is. You know, that was a nice way of saying you farm in some very easy to grow ground, very easy to farm ground, and if you go down there, you're gonna have your ass handed to you. Because I couldn't tell you how many times I've seen it. They come in, they'll get a bunch of ground, like 500-600 acres of ground, take it away from all the guys in the area, you know, a couple of older farmers that aren't, you know, that aren't doing a very good job, and they're gonna show us all how to do it. And then they come here and they leave here, usually within the first year. Some of them are kind of stubborn and they leave within the second year. But then there's the really stubborn ones that have to lose a lot before they leave. But they all leave, and then they're like, that shit ground, I don't know how anybody makes a living down there. Well, if you're raised in this soil, you know how to grow in this soil. It's nice looking soil, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, look at it. It's actually, you know, this is the most, I'm a little embarrassed that I worked it up this much with that stupid, and that's one pass. That isn't multiple passes, that's one pass, and it's tore up that much. So, but anyway, whatever, we'll get through it. We'll get through it. And it's nice looking soil, kind of dark. It's not that red stuff. It's brown, dark kind of soil. Looks like it's super fertile. And it can be if you get rain when you're supposed to. But just below the surface, about 1.5 feet, maybe not even, in a lot of spots, it's shale or clay. And when I say clay, I mean brick making clay, not what you guys would consider. I've been in other areas of the country and they're like, oh yeah, that's clay ground. I'm like, that's like sandy loam to me, man. And they look at me like, what the hell are you talking about? That's clay. You don't know what clay is? I'm like, no, actually, you don't know what clay is. I can show you what clay is. I have a farm that's a 1/2 mile down the road that way, maybe 3/4 of a mile down the road there. And that one, I had to dig a drain with a back blade on the tractor. And there was 4 acres of the field because the guy that had come from another area went in with a deep ripper and ripped up the old tile drains, right? Ripped them up with the ripper because they were only under the soil. They were only under the soil a foot, you know, 1.5 feet. And they went down there with like 18 inches with his ripper and a gigantic, and I mean, it was a gigantic articulated case staggered tractor. And they ripped up the tile drains, and then of course, what happens, the water pools there, and then they don't know how to deal with the water, so they move a little bit. They don't know how to deal with this soil, so they move a little bit farther away. And then the next year, they got to move a little bit farther away. And then the next year, they got to move a little bit farther away. And that's not how you deal with this soil, because they want to be in there when they want to be in there planting when they're in planting all their other ground. And this ground just isn't that way. It takes patience. This is probably one of the earliest that we've started to plant here. I planted in April years ago, then we get a cold snap and then it just screws things up. So it's May 2nd and I'm planting soybeans, and I'm happy about it, but I'm worried about it because we could go into 2 weeks of very cold, wet weather, and these beans can lay down there under the surface for 2-3 weeks. Literally, I've seen beans sit under the soil for 2-3 weeks at a time, and it's just a really bad situation. It's a really bad situation when it does that here. Now, you get a little bit, say 15 miles to the north of us here, where it's a little bit more sandier soil, or more forgiving soil, you can put those beans in, and they can lay under that soil, but the minute it warms up enough to bust them through, they'll come through. They don't get a really bad crust on it. This will turn to cement. Like cement. Cold, hard cement. And because of all the rain that we've had, and I think I mentioned it in the other video, because of all the rain that we've had, the ground is so hard. I wasn't going to run that vertical tillage machine. I wasn't going to run it. I was like, all right, I don't need to run the VT this year as much as, you know, I have in the past. I'm trying to conserve some money. But then I've got this issue of the ground is so incredibly hard, and I planted that 174 acres of peas, and those peas, they're having a hell of a time. They're through the ground now, but hell, that's been 2 weeks ago. And they're just coming through the ground now because that ground, it is so hard that the roots couldn't penetrate. So we were having that issue, and I was like, you know, take your knife, jab it into the ground on some of this ground, and I swear if you just bent it over, it would break the knife off. That's how hard that ground is. And with these types of no-till drills and soybeans, you know, why should I make them struggle to come through the ground or even go into the ground, you know, set their roots down, you know, if they don't have to. And all I have to do is put my wife in a vertical tillage machine and let her rip. You know, let her rip, potato chip. That's what we got to do. So that's what she's doing. I did this, she's doing that. And you can see right here I had adjusted it again. You could see that it is nowhere near as agitated as what it is over there. A little more trash on top of the ground, but it's still cutting in 3.5 inches there. So I ended up bringing it up to 1.5 inches. So, but that's it. That's all I got to say right now. Okay, hang it up.